Specificity means the quality of being specific. Probably the number one problem of students in English 79 is a lack of specificity. If you can be specific in your writing, you stand a great chance of succeeding in this course and in your other writing assignments in college. To get started with this, it's first of all essential that you distinguish between general ideas or ideas that are broad or wide-ranging from specific ideas or particular instances. Take a look at these terms, for instance. Identify which ones are general and which ones specific. Feel free to pause the video here or at any time in order to answer the questions. You should have selected mammal, cook, and fruit. Why? Because the other selections are specific instances, different kinds of mammals, different ways of cooking, specific types of fruit. Now that we have the concepts of general and specific in mind, we need to sharpen our understanding. This is because it's a little inaccurate to say that something is either general or specific, as if there are only two choices in life. It's actually more accurate to say that something is more or less general, more or less specific. This is because general and specific are on a continuum, where one thing may be more general than another item, but more specific than another. Take a look at these terms: food, produce, fruit, apple, and Granny Smith. You'll notice that they form a continuum, with the most general term of all, food, on the left. Then there's produce, which is one kind of food, and is therefore more specific than food. But fruit is more specific than produce because there are several kinds of produce besides fruit. More specific than that is apple, it's one kind of fruit. And finally, Granny Smith is the most specific of all. It's one kind of apple. Sometimes it's helpful to think of this as the rungs of a ladder, where we can step down to more specific terms or step up to a more general term. Pause the video and put the following list of items in order from most general to most specific at the top of the bottom. So pause it now and make a ladder. Notice how the top left, machine, is the most general, so it's at the top of the ladder. Then we go down step by step to the most specific, the Toyota Camry. Again, step by step, we move from general to specific. Finally, we move from the general term food to that magnificent and specific Hostess apple pie. Now that you understand the ladder of specificity, you can apply this to writing. In particular, you might notice that the topic sentence should be the most general idea of a given paragraph. Writers might follow this up with a level 1 detail, a fairly general development of the topic. Good writers will proceed to level 2, examples that illustrate the topic sentence or the level 1 detail. Good writers will also include level 3 details, the most specific of all. These details will be particular, one-of-a-kind instances, maybe a story that happened one time, or a particular case with vivid details that appeal to the 5 senses. Let's practice this by analyzing some paragraphs in terms of their level of specificity. In the process, I think you'll see what makes some paragraphs more effective than others, and you'll be able to see how to revise paragraphs to make them more effective. Read this paragraph and identify the level of each sentence, level 1, 2, or 3, or topic sentence. You may want to work from your module in Etudes. In this paragraph, the first sentence is the topic sentence, and the last sentence restates the topic sentence. You should identify each of the other sentences as either a level 1, 2, or 3. Go ahead and pause the video, and then try to correctly identify the levels of the supporting sentences. Here are my answers. After stating the topic sentence, the writer includes a level 1 detail. What makes it a level 1 detail? It explains some of the ways of being self-disciplined, but it does so in very general terms, talking about people, taking care of what needs to be taken care of, chores and duties, all quite general terms. The writer follows this up with a level 2 detail, an example of my father, and some of the specific chores and duties that he takes care of. After this are some level 3 details, a story about a particular, never to be repeated event that occurred one time in the past. It's possible to step both down and up the ladder of specificity, and this is what the writer does here. Next, we have a level 2 detail that describes my father's success. By visualizing these steps in the ladder of specificity, we can see more clearly why this is a well-written paragraph. We can also use this tool to identify why some paragraphs are poorly written. Take a look at this weak paragraph and identify the levels of specificity again. Once again, the first and last sentences state the topic sentences. Pause the video and identify the levels of detail in the rest of the paragraph. Notice how the writer keeps circling around at the same level 1. Even when he uses transitions like, for example, the writer doesn't actually provide details that are specific instances of the previous sentence. The writer's merely repeating the same level 1 point. And that is why this paragraph is so weak. Take a look at this revision. Notice how much more effective the paragraph is because the writer has cut out the repetition and included vivid third-level details. Pause the video and take a look. Try this again. Pause the video and identify the levels of details in this paragraph. Pause the video and compare your answers with mine. Notice how the level 1 details discuss ads and stereotypes in general. The level 2 details are more specific. They describe some specific stereotypes. We can visualize why this paragraph is better than the previous one, but we can still make it better with effective third-level details. Pause the video and read the revision. Notice how this revision includes level 3 details, vivid descriptions of particular ads. Notice that after the first level 3 example, the writer steps back up to level 2 to introduce another third-level example. This is a very skillful technique, and it strengthens this paragraph. Try this one more time. Pause the video and identify the levels of details in this paragraph. Pause the video and compare your answers with mine. Notice how the writer has skipped from level 1 directly to level 3. It's okay to do this. This is not a terrible paragraph, but we can make it better. Pause the video and check out this revision. We've added some nice level 2 details and improved the quality of the level 3 details. Specificity is a useful concept, but only if you apply it in your writing. If you step down the ladder in your own writing, I think you'll see a big improvement.